to tell you now, this is the last time we're redoing this series. I'm gonna continue the series, and if you don't have a problem, if you do have a problem with this, then you can just screw off, because I've restarted this series twice because people said that, oh, this doesn't work like that, and oh, that doesn't work like that. So people were so offended that I said that Ultra Instinct was a multiplier, which it fucking is, that I decided, oh well, fine. I'm gonna not make it a multiplier. So how Ultra Instinct works in this is, it basically brings out the full capabilities of someone's, basically, strength. So, I'm pretty sure a human body can only use like 20% of its actual strength. So, Deku can use basically 100% of that without hurting his body. And he will also have the instinct to die. Well, his body will also move on its own. Plus, he will also have one for all. Reason being why Deku has one for all is because Deku will start to show signs of Ultra Instinct within, basically around the USJ arc and, or the, basically, what's it called? The sports festival. So those around, that's when Deku starts to show this ability. Now, Deku's quirk is dormant, which means that, I'm just going to say instead of Ultra Instinct, the quirk would actually be named, never mind, it's just going to be called Ultra Instinct, although Deku wouldn't really call it that. He would probably just call it some stupid shit about being one for all, because he would probably think that it has something to do with one for all, so we would probably name it probably 1,000,000%. So, yeah. Now, Deku, this is around the USJ, when Deku finally, uses, basically, Ultra Instinct for the first time. Now, All Might's running a little late in this timeline. He doesn't make it there fast enough to save them. And Deku, he basically tried to hit the Nomu, as it was basically beating on Aizawa. So the Nomu would basically start to beat up on Deku. And he would basically beat Deku as bad as he beat Aizawa, which Deku's basically battered on the floor. Now, Deku's basically whining about how pathetic he is, as a heat starts to emanate from Deku. Now, when I say that Deku's able to use 100% of his physical capabilities, that goes for one for all as well. It won't break his bones when he uses it. So, yeah. Now, Deku, he will begin to emanate this, steam. Steam will start to come from Deku as he would slowly get back up. And Shigaraki's like, huh? Nomu, kill the kid, since he doesn't know when basically know when to stay down. Which Nomu would rush towards Deku, basically getting ready to throw a right hook, as basically Deku, he would jump back. And he moved so fast that Shigaraki didn't even register it. The Nomu probably didn't even register it. So Deku, he would basically look up as he's like, Deku's hair, it wouldn't really change colors, but his eyes will change to a silverish. As then, sparks of electricity start to fly around Deku, because he is activating one for all. Now, Deku, he'd be like, alright, as he would jump towards the Nomu, and the Nomu, since the Nomu is strong enough to fight All Might, which means that Nomu would have to be able to see things extremely fast, the Nomu, he would dodge Deku's, basically, kick. Hold on. So, the Nomu just basically being not barely, but the Nomu being able to register Deku's attack, as Deku would go for a kick. The kick would basically send a shockwave after the Nomu blocked it, and everyone would be knocked away from the contact that the friction that Deku made with the Nomu. Now, Deku would rush towards the Nomu, and he would start to throw hands with it. Deku is basically dodging the Nomu's hits, as the Nomu isn't really moving out of the way of Deku's. And Deku is fighting, it looks like they're fighting the exact same, It looks the exact same, as, All Might's fight. It's just that Deku, he isn't being touched by the Nomu. Deku's basically just, it looks like he's being hit, but he's actually just moving at the last second, and the attacks aren't even touching him. Now, Deku's gonna create a fighting style for this type of transformation, but that's only when he's gonna master it, in the near future. Now, Deku, he'd be like, alright. He wouldn't actually talk, because, whatever. For some reason, Goku lost the ability to talk, or he was like, I'm too cool to talk. So, Deku, he would charge up 100% of one for all, basically hitting the Nomu, and doing, well, what it looks like to be the exact same thing that All Might did, knocking the Nomu out of the building. As the Deku is just standing there, as he starts to breathe heavily. And I'm gonna say that the Nomu doesn't get knocked out of the building. It's basically, it hits the wall, and it's basically stuck up there. So Deku's breathing heavily as the ka 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 shidaze song starts to play. And then Deku would rush towards the Nomu as his eyes are starting to change between green and a grayish. As he would punch the Nomu and it would break his bone. Because he just turned off Ultra Instinct, or time just ran out. The Nomu would be knocked out of the USJ, and it would be later picked up after heroes would arrive. Now, I would say that some people would be watching Deku's fight, and Baku's like, what the hell? As he's basically, like, amazed. Not amazed, but Baku's pissed, because he never knew that Deku had this type of power. So Deku, he would have fallen unconscious due to the pain and the lack of stamina that he had or didn't have. So he would be picked up by the heroes after they would arrive. All Might would be immediately saddened because he would think of himself as less of a hero now because he wasn't fast enough to get there before Deku hurt himself. Now, Shigaraki would attack Deku again even after All Might arrived. Because...
I'm scared in there.
Hold on, I'm making a video, be quiet. Because he thinks that this is a chance to kill All Might. And he's rushing towards basically Deku and All Might, as All Might would basically swing his fist and he would basically knock Shigaraki out. As Kirigiri's like, yep, let's get the fuck out of here. So they're gone. Deku, he would wake up in the infirmary as All Might's like, young Midoriya, as he's talking to Deku. And after that, Deku would arrive into his class 2 weeks later. Now, Froppy would be like, well, start to question Deku about what that power was that he used. As Deku's like, what? And she's like, I don't know, well, whatever it was, you were moving extremely fast. And she was like, you and the Nomu had basically an epic, well, I'm saying Moneta says that you and the Nomu had an epic battle. So Deku's like, huh? As he starts to remember that he did fight the Nomu. And the Nomu was moving extremely slow compared to him. So Deku's like, huh? Oh, I mean, I don't really... As Baku would be like, damn nerd, what were you holding back in our fight last time too? And Deku's like, no, I swear I didn't know what that was. And Baku's like, whatever. As Aizawa would walk in, he would start talking to them about the sports festival. Now, 3 days, and during the 3 days of training, Deku... he would basically be wondering if that was 100% of One For All, which that was not. It was basically Ultra Instinct. But yeah, he was questioning it. This is Deku's dormant quirk. It really couldn't be sensed or basically scanned through the current way of testing in My Hero, but yeah, still. Deku was looking, as it's like, oh, I'm gonna be late. And he's like, Mom, watch the tournament. Or not the tournament, but watch the sports festival. She's like, you know I won't miss it. So Deku would rush out the door. Now, Deku, he would immediately begin to... not really, but he would get there as Baku would give the speech about how he's going to win. None of them stand a chance. And he would look at Deku. He's like, even you, Deku. And he would walk down. Deku would have still be given the speech from Todoroki, so that doesn't change either. The cavalry battle, that doesn't go any different. Basically, nothing changes up until Deku's fight with Todoroki. Everything stays the same as in the anime until Deku fights Todoroki, when Ultra Instinct will rear its head again. Now, in this fight, Deku, he didn't manage to get Todoroki to use his fire side. Todoroki just hit Deku with a huge ice pillar, which Deku was hit with a huge amount of frostbite and a huge amount of damage. So Deku is like, as the heat starts to emanate from him again. And Todoroki's like, whatever. As he would launch another ice pillar at Deku, saying that he would never ever use his quirk. As Deku, he would basically swipe his hand, and the ice would basically just immediately break. And Todoroki's like, alright, that's a fluke. as he begins to launch more, and Deku's basically just breaking them with a swipe of his finger, or his hand. As Deku would look up, and his eyes would glow silverish, which Froppy's like, it's that thing again, as this time the aura around Deku is much more intense. Hold on. So yeah, I was just talking to some people on Discord. Anyway, now, Deku, he would rush towards Todoroki, which Todoroki knows that he has to launch as much as he can into this one. Which Todoroki would launch a huge ice pillar, as Deku, he would basically dodge the attack, jumping above it, as he would start to slide down it. And Todoroki, hasn't really charged another attack yet. He's used too much stamina, as Deku's like, I don't have time to waste on someone. As he starts to Deku clenches his fist, who doesn't use 100% of his power. As Deku would hit him with a smash, which this smash would knock Todoroki from the stage into a wall, as Todoroki just got cratered. And Deku's like, huh. As the Ultra Instinct would wear off. And Deku would finally feel the strain of basically the strain. He used a lot of stamina to access that transformation. Now, Deku's panting heartily, or basically just panting, as Baku's like, that bastard. He was holding back. As now, Deku, he was given a little bit time to rest, as it's his turn to fight Bakugo. Hold on. So yeah, Deku would crater Todoroki, as he would basically exit, and now he's getting ready to fight Bakugo. Now, I just got done finishing, or basically answering some comments. Do you guys not pay attention to my videos? Because I have to go there and answer the most retarded stuff that I've ever heard. I've already explained this in the video, but yet you come back into the comments and be like, does Deku know all of the chakra natures? When I specifically said in that one video, what if Deku had Sasuke's abilities, that Deku could only use lightning release. But, well, lightning release plus his Amaterasu and flame control, which he gets in the future, but still, you guys, for some reason, never mind, Azzy, you're gonna have them unsubscribe to you. But anyway, Deku finishes off Todoroki. Now he's getting ready to fight Bakugo, which Bakugo's like, Deku, you better use that power against me too, because if you don't, I'm gonna beat you. He's basically like, I'm gonna rip you to shreds. As Deku, he would start to fight Bakugo. This wouldn't really end well, because Deku isn't worried about using the power too much, but he hopes that he will activate it again, because having that much power feels great. And in the battle, Deku wasn't really strong enough, plus he didn't have enough stamina to deal with Bakugo's attacks, meaning that Deku lost. Which Bakugo's like, you bastard. Do you think I'm not worried to use all of your power against or something? You think this is some type of game? That's what Bakugo would say to Deku. Deku's like, I can't control it, Kachan. As he's like, whatever. You said that to me the last time you basically used awesome, well, not awesome, but the last time you used amazing power. As he would walk away. And this is where I'll be ending it off here. Because in the next video, I will be getting into but the next video I'll be getting into, basically Deku and the Stain arc. Now, do you think Deku would get much more, do you think he would get much more hero, recommendations now that they've seen that he can use his quirk without hurting his body? And yeah, goodbye. Because, I have something downloading currently, and me recording something right now isn't really helping it.